My castaway this week is a cricketer. Born in Pakistan 38 years ago and educated at Oxford University, he's today considered one of the game's great all-rounders. His fame, however, extends well beyond the cricket field. His aristocratic good looks and effortless charm have made him the idol of women the world over. However, he purports to be disdainful of such admiration. He remains a devout Muslim, he doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, and he said that his marriage, if it ever comes, will be arranged. He is Imran Khan. Imran, I can't believe that in all those years of playing English cricket that you haven't come under enormous pressure to sink a pint at some point or another.
Well, when I first came to England, I was only 18, and I joined Worcestershire, and I was told by all the cricketers there that, look, if you have to be a fast bowler, you must drink beer, because that's what Freddie Truman drank. And yes, and there was a lot of pressure also, because they thought I was antisocial because I didn't drink. And sadly, a lot of cricketers from Pakistan who came and played cricket in England, they started drinking because they felt, they were being antisocial.
They got teased into it.
And then developed an awful alcohol habit.
But joking and drinking and womanising apart, your faith is obviously extremely important to you, isn't it?
Yes, it was always important because I came from a home where both my parents were religious. And the family generally, cousins, everyone, it was a religious family. But I think it was over a period of time that I was drawn closer to it.
So will your faith, be your salvation, as it were, on a desert island? Would you turn even more to it alone?
Well, I put it this way, that I would first of all justify being on a desert island because it was meant to be. When I was younger, I found it so hard to accept defeat. In a way, it was good because I hated losing, so I tried even harder the next time. But in another way, it created a lot of turmoil, I couldn't accept defeat. And as time passed, I realized that what I wanted to do was really give my best. And then whatever happened, it was meant to be. So it was easy to accept a lot of things in life with this policy or philosophy.
So there you are, alone on the beach with only your music. Now, what would be the first piece of music that you'd play?
Well, there's a man called Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan. Now, Nusrat has become, I have become obsessed with his music, and this has only been a year and a half. The reason I like it is because it's about, Qawwali started, let me just explain, why his music is Qawwali, which is called Sufi music. And Sufi music started when on the tombs of great saints in the subcontinent, even in Iran, every year, at the death anniversary, there's a huge festival, and this is the music that is played there. But this version is a westernized version, which I think Peter Gabriel helped compose this with a guitar and maybe even a drum. So it's got a sort of jazz-type sound to it.
Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan singing Must Must. You divide your life, Imran Khan, between living here in England, in London, and in your native Pakistan, in Lahore. Can you describe the essential differences between the two? Climate, obviously.
Well, let me explain. It is a completely different life. When I first came to England, I found I was missing Lahore. And when I went back to Lahore after 4 years, I found I was missing aspects of England. So then it was, this turmoil lasted for 2 or 3 years. I couldn't work out. I was in one place missing the other and so on. Then I discovered what aspects of each country I missed. You see, London, for someone like me who comes from Pakistan, is a fascinating place in that it is the ultimate city life. What happens in London is you meet different people. You can go out 5 nights a week, different dinners, and you will meet different people.
But the social life in Lahore simply doesn't compare.
Well, social life in Lahore means, for me it's been that I have about 4 friends who I see more or less every night. there's either one's got a dinner at his place or the other. And so forget about, going out. That's it.
What about where you live, how you live? Here in London you've got a flat in Kensington, which by all accounts is sort of draped and low-slung and Eastern carpets and jewelled daggers. What is it like in Lahore?
Well, Lahore I live with my father. But you see, the point of Pakistan, which I discovered eventually, was that we have some of the greatest wilderness in the world. Pakistan is outdoors, wilderness is untouched. All the tourism goes to India, and Pakistan is, in a way, preserved.
But which for you ultimately is home?
Always has been Pakistan. That there hasn't been a doubt. I find the older I'm getting, I'm spending more time there. Now, I used to spend 6 months here and 6 months in Pakistan. Now I find I'm spending 8 to 9 months in Pakistan.
Shall we have your second record there?
Yes, the second one is from Johnny Nash, and I can see clearly now. And the reason is because this song, the first time I heard was in May 1972. It was my first winter I'd spent in England. And I can't tell you the shock I went through. It was so cold. It was dark. The food in this boarding I was in was so terrible because I was used to eating Pakistani food, 3 cooked meals a day. It was such a shock to my system and then I was away from home, and I'm so close to my family that being away from them for such a long space of time, I was so homesick. It took all my willpower not to run away back to Pakistan and leave my studies. And so when May came and sunshine came and then the cricket weather came, because I also missed cricket in the winter, this was so refreshing, and the song just captured my mood.
I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day.
I Can See Clearly Now, sung by Johnny Nash, and memories for Imran Khan of 1972 and his first English winter. You were over here playing for Pakistan, but then you ended up doing your A-levels at Worcester Grammar here. Was that always the intention?
No, I arrived in 1971 with the Pakistan team. I was only 18. The only way my parents let me go on tour was that they said, you've got to finish your studies. I said, okay, after the tour finishes, I'll finish my A-level exams. And that's why I stayed back and did my A-levels.
And then you went up to Oxford, to Keble College, to read politics and economics. What was the attraction? Was it the education? Was it the cricket here? Was it the lifestyle? What hooked you?
Well, definitely Oxford. Three of my first cousins went to Oxford and Cambridge, and 2 of them went on to captain Pakistan, and both were my heroes.
And what were you like then? Were you shy and rather overwhelmed by all of this new lifestyle, or were you a rather confident young man?
I was shy, and I was shy also because until I came to England, or until I got selected in the Pakistan team, I had only been in 2 environments. One was the college I went to, which was Aitchison College, where I spent all my school days.
In Lahore?
In Lahore. And the other was Zaman Park, where I grew up with my family. So I never knew other people. I never had to make other friends. I didn't know anyone else.
Did you find yourself generally accepted, or did you come up against any kind of racism, or did cricket and Oxford get you past all of that?
At Oxford, I didn't find any racism. But I did outside Oxford. When I was playing for Worcester, there were always these undertones of racism. I played at various grounds where there would be occasional racist remark. Most of all, I never forget, I played against a Yorkshire team who were blatantly racist. I was then captaining Oxford, and I was sitting about to go into bat, and there were a group of sort of elderly gentlemen sitting in front of me. And they were, I could listen to it, and they were saying, isn't it nice to see a team where there are no coloured players? So it was quite a shock to me at that time, because I didn't expect such open racism.
How did you react to it?
Well, I came to terms with it because, I was fortunate in having been instilled with a lot of pride in my background. So I didn't react like I developed hang-ups about my color or anything. Instead, I just realized that there are people who need their race identity to hide behind, who probably don't have enough confidence in themselves, to be... that it didn't matter what race they came from. And yet there were also enough people at university who were so anti-racism.
Record number 3.
Well, this is again from Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan. Now, this is one of my great favorites. It's a little difficult for the listeners here to understand because it depends much more on the lyrics, although the beat is quite fascinating for people who understand music. The song basically is Os Nahi Auna. It's a Punjabi song, which is something like where a friend is trying to tell another friend who's suffering from the pain of love, of a lover that has gone away. And this friend is trying to console the lover and also trying to make him come out of this dream world the person is in and trying to tell him that, listen, the person is not coming back. It happens all the time when you're trying to advise a friend who's sort of really lovesick. And it's such a great song because the words are so brilliant and the music is excellent.
Or perhaps you've taken its advice yourself, have you?
Well, I've had to give a lot of advice.
Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan singing Os Nahi Auna, or The Person's Not Coming Back. Tell me, Imran Khan, about the first time you held a cricket bat in your hands. Can you remember that moment?
No, I can't remember that particular moment because I was quite young. I must have been about 6 or 7 years old. My parents got me and my older sister a cricket bat each and some stumps and a cricket ball.
And was it in the family, this? You say your mother presented you with a cricket bat and ball. I mean, was it something that was expected of you? Was it a tradition?
No, it wasn't a tradition. But the thing is that my mother's family, I mean, in history, there have never been 3 sisters whose 3 sons went on to captain their country. Plus, their brother was a national player in hockey as well as cricket. And both his sons were first-class cricketers. So I grew up with these older cousins, all very good at cricket.
What about your father? Was he as interested in it all?
My father knew nothing about cricket. He wasn't interested. He only heard on television when I got selected for Pakistan. He asked my sisters, he said, is this Imran?
And did he recognise your fame? Did he realise that you'd actually become, as the years went by, a great hero?
The time when I became a hero in my own country was when we first defeated India, and I had a major hand in it. And, India-Pakistan matches are just, people who know nothing about cricket follow it just because it's against India. So at the time, my leg was broken, and, he'd always ask me to come to see, we have some land. And he said, you never go and see your land, so come along. So while we were driving, I would always stop. We'd stop on our way for some refreshments. It was about 6 hours drive and it was summer. So whenever we'd stop, I'd make sure that I stopped where there were not too many people. And he'd always look at me and say, what's the matter with you? He said, why? Who the hell do you think you are? So I said, I don't want to be in front of other people. They'll recognize me. Anyway, we ended up where our land was, and there was a little village there. And he wanted to go to the restaurant where he normally ate. And I chose one where there was no one there. And he was so disgusted with me. As we were going to sleep in this rest house, he gave me another lecture that, in Quran it clearly states that a man shouldn't show off. It's gone to your head. So he gave me a terrible lecture. And in the morning we were woken up. There was something like 3,000-4,000 children outside and grown up, and they were breaking the doors down because it was a village. So I looked at his face, and he was so shocked by this. It was the first time it hit him that, cricket is a mass sport in Pakistan. Everyone follows it. And it's like a religion to children.
Some more music.
Well, the fourth one is from the Rolling Stones.